Hello everyone! Today I wanted to share with you a sexy, erotic, recent experience I had with my partner Gab in Paris. We just came back from 2 weeks in Paris. La ville de l'amour, the most romantic city in the world. Now I understand why Paris is just charming AF. And coincidentally, it happened to be Paris Fetish Week while we were there. So naturally, I got very excited, but because I only found out about this last minute, there weren't many workshops left that we can sign up for. But one. It was called La puissance de la douceur, which means the art of soft touch. So I signed up for it and I basically just told my partner, tomorrow from 2 to 3, we got a BDSM workshop. I don't really know what it's about, but we're gonna go and check it out, experiment, have fun. Maybe we'll love it and have some new tricks to bring back to the bedroom, or maybe we'll hate it and have something to laugh about. But regardless, it is a really fun activity to do as a couple. So we did it. And I just want to preface that when you hear BDSM workshop, you probably think whips, chains, spanking, maybe even pain. But what I learned from Madame Lul, who was the incredible professional dom from Paris who led this workshop, was that sometimes the most powerful way to dominate or connect is through something almost counterintuitive: soft touch. And let me tell you, it was effing hot. Now, before we get into it, I just want to preface and say that I am not this BDSM experienced human. My name is Ali. I am a sex education student with the Sexual Health Alliance, and I have been learning a lot about sex and my sexuality in the last couple of years. And although I've been starting to dabble in the whole kinkster BDSM world, I don't want you to watch this video thinking I am this true expert. One of the big things about my channel is that I like to try things. I like to be open-minded and bring some novelty in my life when it comes to sex, to keep things spicy and fun. And I know a lot of you are sitting at home curious about trying stuff, but you don't really know where to go, how to start. So watching videos like mine of people who are just trying things and sharing their experience is really, really valuable. No, I haven't been to a dungeon. Maybe one day I'll go. I do have a few leather accessories that I've started to buy because I'm getting into the whole accessory thing a little bit because I feel very sexy when I do. I've gained some knowledge over the years, and experience is knowledge. So anyways, I'm going to tell you all about my experience in that workshop, what we learned from it, how it made me feel, how you can get a glimpse into what actually happened, because I do have some footage. I secretly filmed us in the workshop, but I'm going to get into all of that later. But first, I wanted to get into some of the misconceptions of BDSM that some people have. So most people think BDSM is rough, painful, or intense. And while those things can be a part of it, that's just one piece of a huge spectrum. The reality is BDSM is about trust, consent, and exploring power dynamics, and sometimes in the most subtle ways. And soft touch is a perfect example. It's dominant, electric, and erotic, but it works through precision, attention, and presence, and not impact. Now, I can confidently say that I now possess the language to explain this, because before I did not. Back in the day, not too far long ago actually, I really liked rough sex, and don't get me wrong, I still do to a certain extent, but I used to like it real rough back in the day, okay? All consensual, of course, but the hitting, the spanking, the slapping, oh my God, the more the better. I liked having some bruises sometimes. But recently I noticed that my body's changing, my sexual desires are changing, which is totally normal. And I noticed I want something more. I've been craving something more, but I haven't really been able to express what that is. So sometimes when I've been with my partner who's used to touching me a certain way, in a more rough, dominant way, I noticed that those touches or grabs or squeezes were too much, and it would hurt me, and I would be ew, no, and it would kind of distract me from enjoying myself or having an orgasm. And then he would kind of be confused because he's well, you used to like that, so why don't you like that anymore? And I'm I want something different. I think I want a softer touch, but I don't really know how. So honestly, I think this workshop was a godsend to us, because after taking it, I was yes, this is it. This is what I want right now. And Madame Lul, who was the facilitator of the workshop, which by the way, she is an amazing woman, okay? When she came into that room and just dominated the space with her soft voice and her soft touch and her her movements and her etiquette was so classy but commanding, I was like, you need to dominate me. It was the first time ever where I was in the presence of a woman who I wanted to dominate me. That's never happened before. She was just like something else. But she explained to us that beginners often assume that rough equals exciting, but in truth, soft touch can create more anticipation, more desire, and intensity than harsher forms of play. And why? Because it actually engages the brain, heightens awareness, and builds tension, like the good kind of sexual tension, in a way that's unpredictable and deeply intimate. So what did I learn about soft touch, and what is it exactly? So it's gentle and slow. It's intentional contact. It's feather light pressure and subtle movements. It's attunement to your partner's body, reactions, and energy. It's not timid, like a shy, awkward kind of touch. It's controlled and commanding. Every brush of a finger, every graze of the arm, every slow stroke is charged with intention and anticipation. And oh my God, that shit gets me going. Well, in the workshop, it was, again, perfect opportunity for me to learn the language and for Gab to also learn what I am looking for more now. And so the workshop was in a really nice space. It was the bottom of a club or a community center, like bar type of space. The lighting was dark, the mood was good. There were a lot of couples there and a few single people, and everything was in pairs because we were going to do a role play. So she was going to teach us some skills and then we had to practice. So it was very interactive, very hands-on. And she had an assistant there to help her so that she can show us what it is that she does exactly. And before every scene of practice, we were asked to put our hands like this with our partner. And the first person that put their hands on top meant that they were the ones that wanted to be the dom, because we were taking turns practicing being the dom back and forth, which I thought was so fun because Gab is like always the dom. And I actually took it as an opportunity to dominate him. So I put my hands on top first and he was surprised, but I was kind of excited to like dom a little bit, because although I like to be dominated, I kind of like to also dominate in a very like sexy, sultry way. Anyways, the workshop was broken up in a few rounds of practice, and each skill that she taught us kind of built upon the last skill. So the first one was basically about establishing presence and dominating someone through gaze, through energy, through presence. So we weren't even allowed to touch the person. They would stand there and we would have to like walk around them, stare at them, up and down, go really close to their face, kind of hover our hands over their body, give them that kind of energy and just show them like our presence is there and we are commanding them. So I did it at first to Gab, and then when he did it to me, and this is really not something he's used to doing, okay? This is really not his jam, or just not something, like he's used to doing. He's never done it before, he's learning about it, so it was new for him. But just that alone, when he did that to me, I was already getting like butterflies in my stomach and like tingling down there. I was like, oof, I could like feel the energy in his presence, like it was hot. And then the next round was them needing to touch. So she taught us like, the light angel touches, the little like soft grazes against the body, kind of bringing that energy in, up the thighs. Like you didn't even have to do any erogenous zones or anything, just like anywhere, like bring that soft, subtle touch everywhere, like just softness, feather-like touches. And I will say that it was effing hot. So hot. So she put on some music and Gab did that to me. Instantly, I was like, my body reacted and I was like, wow, yes, this is it. This is what I've been craving for. Like, oh my God, it was so nice. And then I think Gab got a little bit excited. I should get him on another video actually to say his part versus mine, because it's probably going to it's from a different perspective. So it will be interesting to hear his. But then he started like grabbing my chest a little bit firmly, like he's used to. And I was wearing a skirt, like a short jean skirt with tights. So he started kind of like going up my skirt a little bit. And like that I didn't really like. It's almost like my body shut down at that point. And I was like, no, like cold, cold, you're getting cold, like go back to being warm, go do the other stuff, you know, but I couldn't say anything because we were in a scene. Well, I could have said something, but I was going with the flow and learning about what this process was, because we did talk about consent, obviously, and you know, how to stop a scene or how to let the person know that we're not comfortable with what's going on, or how to slow down or how to speed up or how to stop if we're really not doing well. And yeah, so at the end of that, I gave him some feedback and I told him like everything was amazing except when you went like for my chest in there, like that was too much. And I wanted you to continue with the other things. It was such a good opportunity for us to practice this kind of communication. So he was like, okay, all right. He took it well. And then the third practice was more like commanding or getting the person, the sub, to do certain things without force. So using like subtle hand gestures to like turn the head, or how to get someone on their knees in a very soft way. So how to maneuver their body and get them to do things without that like rough, like misconception BDSM where you're being rough or you're pulling their hair, things like that. And oh my God, it was like panty melting. It was so nice. Whew, it was so nice. It was so nice. He got me on my knees. He took his time. He's walking around me. He was touching me so lightly. He was standing there and just watching me and not doing anything. Sometimes doing nothing is like the best thing that you can do. It was friggin' hot. And yeah, it was such a great workshop. And it really taught him the art of foreplay, because Gab's always been the kind of guy that doesn't really like foreplay that much, or he underestimates the amount of time that is needed. He can be quite dominating and rough and aggressive, but always like in a good way. Like I've always enjoyed that, but because I've changed now, he's kind of trying to adapt to my style. But Madame Lul also showed us how we can be soft and then add that little like surprise slap or tap or something like that. It was just so much fun. And this is why I encourage couples to try things like this, because you will be very surprised at what you learn. And most of the people in these workshops and classes are people like you and me who are going to learn, who don't know much about this, who are looking to invest in their sex lives or their intimate lives and do better and be better and have the kind of experiences that they're craving and the fantasies and so on in a safe, fun, pleasurable way. So since then, we have been practicing and doing some different things in the bedroom, which have been life-changing and just so much fun to explore this new kind of style together, with light movements, tracing my back, slow hand placements, tiny gestures, creating tension, arousal, and connection that is just like really intoxicating. And I cannot believe how much my body, AKA like there, is reacting. You know, I get wet more. Like it's just been really, really interesting. Why is this so powerful, this soft touch? So I learned that it amplifies trust and vulnerability. It heightens anticipation and arousal. It builds control without harshness and engages your brain and body in a unique way. Think of it as a mindful dominance. You're leading, you're in control, but through presence and attention rather than force. And sometimes the lightest touch carries the heaviest impact. Now, if you want to see more of this workshop, I secretly filmed us, just me and Gab, because, you know, it was a private space, so I want to be respectful of everyone else. So there were a few behind the scene moments, exercises, and reflections on how soft touch can transform intimacy and BDSM play. I've got the full experience, like the in real time experience on there. If you want to check it out, you can. I will put the link in the description below this video to check out my Patreon. There's a bunch of other stuff on there too, and it's just a really great way to help me stay motivated to continue learning about this stuff and sharing it with you all. So if you are on my Patreon, a big, big, big kiss and thank you. And if you are interested in other travel content, slow TV type of content, I started a YouTube membership where I am posting some more behind the scene, like raw footage of our travels on there. And we are also starting a second YouTube channel, me and my partner Gab, which again is just going to be a lot more content about our life, our travels, and some interesting potential real estate stuff. This is kind of a creative project, so bear with us, but I'm just plugging it in this video in case you're curious to join us to see what the hell it's going to be about, because right now I'm not so sure, but I'm going to include that link in the description below as well. So next time you think about BDSM or kink, remember, it doesn't have to be loud, intense, or painful to be powerful. And sometimes the softest touch can have the strongest effect. And there are so many resources out there. One is like Beducated. I talk about them a lot on my platform to teach you the art of soft touch. You can check out Madame Lul's page on Instagram or her website and just learn and educate yourself with more tools on different ways that you can find pleasure and the different ways you can give pleasure. I'm telling you firsthand, from a woman's point of view, or at least from my personal point of view, is that this is a really magnetic way to get me to do anything you want. If you can command me like that, I'm like putty in your hands, all right? So I'm curious to know, have you ever explored soft touch in intimacy or kink? How did it feel? Drop your experience in the comments and make sure to keep them clean because this is YouTube and I love hearing your stories. So thank you so much for watching. Je vous aime. Bye.